to run rule Morehead State in 8 innings.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what's going on right now, but, we're going through the fire a little bit from just the injuries, our lineup. It's tough. If you don't see it in person, it's tough to see what we're going through. I mean, we're playing some guys that can't even run. And Niggett actually took that ball off his throwing hand.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's why he had to come out of the game, because he just had no grip strength at all. And that was a bullet. We're just hoping that it's going to be okay. I mean, our trainer just doing like his initial just feeling around on the hand. He seems to think that it's got a chance to be okay, but, I mean, we've got to get x-rays and everything like that to make sure. But, yeah, I mean, he took that right off his throwing arm, and, I mean, he hit it hard enough to where it hit him in the hand and went all the way to our shortstop in the air. To again have that on back-to-back nights, and then for our guys to be able to hang in there, and again, it almost felt like it was one of those games again where you lost the lead, and it was just like, oh man, here we go, and then our guys just fight back. And that's the one thing that we're going to have to be able to do right now in these circumstances that we're in, is just our offense is just going to have to, we get punched, our guys are going to have to throw a haymaker right back, because our offense is good enough to, no matter what the circumstances are, that we can score runs with anybody, and we just got to figure out a way to get through some of these injuries right now and just hang in there as long as we can, and hopefully get people back, to full strength as quickly as we can, and we'll feel a lot better about our group.
Niggett, of course, has pitched so well for you this year, and he pitched well tonight. His final line went 5 1/3, only 4 hits. The one run that he gave up was the first home run that anyone hit against him this year. But it's one of those situations that I know you just described, Coach Rhodes, not to have you repeat yourself, but you got to look long-term for a guy like that. If maybe this is a game that's in the conference tournament, do or die, maybe he finds a way to stick in there and you ride it. But there's a long season ahead for Alec Niggett, and you got to make sure you have him moving forward past tonight.
Yeah, and, we were asking him if he could pitch. It's not like he didn't want to pitch.
Yeah.
Like, he just had no strength in the grip. Like, he just could not grip. And, it was already swollen up pretty good by the time that we got out there. And, it was a big purple knot right there on the top of the hand. So I don't think there's anything that he could have done. I mean, he wanted to pitch. He just couldn't grip the ball. So, again, the nice thing, too, like I thought Jackson Payne, I thought he looked really good tonight, had a good outing. That's kind of what we had seen in the fall and the early preseason. And so it was nice to see him do what he did. And it's nice to get the 10 runs there. He only threw, 20 pitches where, maybe we got a chance to bounce back tomorrow, because we were, again, with some of the stuff going on, we're going to be a little bit short tomorrow. I think they are too. So, we'll just got to bring our bats and try to outslug them.
I'm glad you brought up Payne, because he inherited the go-ahead run at the time in the 7th inning. I know no one's going to see that when they see the final score and what the box score is, Coach Rhodes, but he came in after Cisneros got that 2 RBI triple. He stood just 90 feet away, gets the final 2 outs in the inning. What was so big about that moment for you to see him just look like he was fine in that moment to come in and be inserted there for your team?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you come in with less than 2 outs with the runner at third there, you're already feeling the pressure. They're squeezing you a little bit, and there's a big strikeout that he had right there, and it just kind of, you could feel it in the dugout. Once he got that out, it was just kind of like, everybody could take a breather, because it almost felt like the momentum of the game was about to turn and switch, and that was probably the biggest play of the game right there, just getting that second out, and then could take a breather with that guy there at third base.
I thought one of the other big plays and really big innings in the 8th inning, which I think will show up. I mean, everyone's going to talk about Tim Semay's 2 RBI triple, and we'll get him in here and talk about that in a moment. But I thought his defensive plays in the top half of that 8th inning, he had 2 really key ground balls come his way and made on-target throws to make that. It was an unconventional 1-2-3 inning. You get the put out there at second with the base runner going. But, Tim, today you have said so many times to me throughout our conversations, that's a guy that you have the utmost confidence in terms of being a really key player at your shortstop position, and he really showed that today.
Yeah, he had a great day. I mean, just from the combination of at the plate, in the field, making those plays, running the bases, and we've got the most confidence that we have in him there at shortstop. We've seen it. We've seen it in the fall. We've seen it in the preseason. It's just one of those things where, early in the season you make a couple mistakes, and, it's just human nature. Everybody that's played the game of baseball that's been on the infield has been in those moments before where it's like, oh, man, I wish they wouldn't hit it to me. And, we've got the most confidence in him that if they do hit it to him, like, he's going to catch it. And he's not going to be perfect, just like all of our infielders. All of our infielders are going to make mistakes, but if we're going at it the right way and we make a mistake, we can live with it. And I think the good thing is with where we're at with our lineup and their structure and who can play and things like that, we're going to run him out there, and we're glad to do it because he's a guy that anywhere on the field he can make a throw. So, it's nice to have somebody like that on the left side of the infield that can get to a ball but also has the arm strength to be able to throw somebody out.
Base running gets really overlooked by fans, but it's something that you as coaches and within programs spend a lot of time on and value. And I just think of that eighth inning where obviously Tim was able to stretch his hit into a triple, but even prior to that, Caleb gets the single. He's able to still move his way to second, as obviously Petrucelli was able to go to third. Where do you believe you're at in terms of with your team and getting better at applying so much pressure with your speed at all of those positions and turning what maybe looks like routine singles, stretching it and getting an extra base, because those extra 90 feet add up in a big time, especially as you get later in the year in more important games?
Yeah, tonight I thought our guys did a phenomenal job taking the extra base, whether it was stretching a double, stretching a triple tonight. It was weird. Usually the turf will dry up pretty quickly, and I don't know if it was just the moisture in the air or what it was, but with the rain before the game, the turf never dried. So like the balls, when they would get to the outfield and would be thrown back in, you saw it so many times that kind of spit out the guy's hand and they throw some lollipops back in. And I thought our guys did a really good job of taking advantage of that extra base there. And then, I still think we're a team that at the end of the year, I think we're going to look up and our stolen base total is going to be at a higher level than people expect, 'cause we're just such a physical team that people don't necessarily think we can run great. And it also hurts too that some of our guys that can actually run pretty good are like kind of station to station right now on the bases. But even guys like Shark, they have enough speed that if people fall into tendencies like they were there, he can swipe a bag. And like, Shark just going from second to third on the stolen base, it makes a world of difference on the pressure that you apply on the team right there.
I know this is more jokingly with me saying this to you here at the end, but when I started seeing some fog come in over the right field fence, I started to think back to the conference tournament a little bit.
I was thinking
a couple years ago. Now that was much thicker fog. Now a couple years ago, in the conference tournament was here, but I didn't know if maybe you started to creep in your mind.
It did. Believe it or not, when I saw that, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me right now, because I did not want to have to get delayed and push this game to tomorrow. But yeah, it was giving me some nightmares looking out there in right field and seeing that fog build up there for a second. I was like, holy crap, we're going to be in for a long night if this thing doesn't go away.